are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Fantastic, thank you, sir. Just a quick one, Shane Burgos, guys who's really sort up the ranks similar to yourself. What do you make of him as an opponent?
I think he's a great test. He's definitely a rising star. He's a tough opponent. Yeah, super well-rounded fighter. So I'm excited for the fight. I think the fans are super excited for the fight. And like I keep saying, fireworks are coming early this year.
Fantastic. And how's the old finger holding up?
It's doing good, man. That was a little over 4 years ago. So uh, the knuckle's still a little swollen. Can't wear my wedding ring. I can't bend it all the way, but you know, just like anything, I adapted to it, and it doesn't give me any problem. I just hope that never happens again.
Well, I think half the teenagers had to see that picture. Hopes it never happens again.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
what I was going to say, what would you say to fans that can expect you come fight night? Expect from you come fight night?
Yeah, the fans that are fans of mine, they're always excited when I'm on the card, because they know I'm going to fight. They're going to be in for something special. I'm always looking to finish the fight. It doesn't matter if it's the first punch I throw or the last punch, buzzer beater, and the third. I possess the power to finish the fight at any point, and I will be looking for the finish.
Thank you so much, man. All the best of luck.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Next question comes from Jake Anderson from Cage Side Press. Jake, your line has been unmuted.
Josh, welcome back. I mean, you've had a couple of misfires with fights this year in January, and then the Barboza fight being canceled because of the pandemic. How frustrating has it been to spend almost another year on the sidelines after already having been out a lengthy stretch in the past?
Yeah, it's super frustrating. I've been in the UFC just over 4 years now. I've been sidelined over 2 years of that. I want to stay as active as possible, but it is kind of a blessing in disguise that I got injured with the Allen fight because I was going to fight out my contract, and who knows where I'd be at this point with the pandemic. As far as the Barboza fight goes, you know, it wasn't really a thing. It was mentioned, but um, I wasn't going to be there because I wasn't asked, or I didn't get a bout agreement or anything like that. But I've been training hard during this whole time. I feel like I'm really coming into my own, and even with age and getting into this sport later than most, I feel like I have a really good 4 or 5 years, possibly even longer. But I feel like I have a few years to make a run at that title, and I feel like this is my time. And I'm hungrier, and I am a hungry fighter. I hear about these people talking about all these hungry fighters and stuff like that. I'm one of the most hungry fighters. I just don't get the chances, the opportunities that everyone else is. But hey, I've never said no to a fight. Anytime they call me, they already know my answer.
And it's been about a month since we learned about the fight with Shane. How much of a camp have you had? Because obviously, like I said, there were other fights. I don't know if you've been in and out of camp or if you stayed going the whole time. And what's it looked like with the pandemic and the social gathering restrictions?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. It was a 4 week notice, so I had a hard 3 weeks, and then I come out to Vegas and start the fun part, the weight cut. So it's sooner than I would have liked, but especially being from Sacramento and California with our governor and everything, we're just the shelter in place, and the quarantine is pretty strict, so there's still some counties, I think they just lifted the ban. So it has been tough. Our gym's been closed the whole time. I'm just fortunate enough that I have a little setup in my garage, with a treadmill and bags. So I've been getting workouts there, and then I was just doing one-on-ones with my boxing coach Joey Rodriguez, Danny Castillo, Chris Holdsworth, my strength coach Darren Draven, and really just working on myself. Doing individualized things, and I feel like I grew a lot from the quarantine and during this time, and I feel a lot better than I typically do as well. So if I can go in there and perform the way I believe I'm going to Saturday night, this could be a new norm. My biggest thing was when this all started back in mid-March. I was like, I'm going to come out better than I went into the quarantine, and that's exactly what I did. I didn't make any excuses to um, not fight. I worked my ass off, and it's going to show Saturday night.
What do you think of the UFC Apex? You've both got the lack of a crowd there, and you've also got the smaller cage, which a lot of people have been talking about. How do you think that comes into play in this fight?
Yeah, I think it benefits me. It's going to be a little odd. I've got to go on the Ultimate Fighter and help coach a season when Faber and McGregor were the coaches. So I know exactly uh, what it's like on the outside. Um, but being a competitor and actually being in the fight, it's a fight. I'm going to be focused. I'm super coachable. I hear my coaches. I hear my opponents' coaches all the time. I can even hear some of my high school and college coaches that still come to my fights. I can hear them in the crowd. Just you know, I'm, so it's not going to affect me at all. In the small cage, West Coast Fighting Championship, where I came from on the regional scene, I was their lightweight champion. That is a small cage. It was like a 20-foot cage or something like that. So it's like you take a step or two, you're in the center. It's like fighting in a phone booth. It forces you to fight. And I had some amazing, exciting fights there. And we also train in a 20-foot cage at, Team Alpha Male headquarters. So it's like during this whole thing, we've had our small group that we've been drilling in there. We've been sparring in there. We have just our coaches. So I think we have the advantage going into this fight just because, I'm a cerebral fighter too. I've been visualizing all this. That's one thing that it's not going to affect me at all. As soon as the bell rings, I'll be ready to rock.
And last one for me, you said going into this that you need more, or that you deserve more attention. What is the key to getting it? Is it just going out and getting the finish, or do you need to go, above and beyond, show more of your personality, do, the talking route that we see some guys do?
No, it's just this is a fight game. Like I understand all the trash talk and stuff, but that's not me. I'm gonna go in there. I'm going to look to finish the fight. I'm exciting every time I fight, whatever I'm doing. So I feel like a big win Saturday night, and I make another statement. I feel like then I'll get that push I deserve. I want someone in front of me this time instead of trying to be the gatekeeper and fighting all these prospects and all these vets and all these guys that are behind me. I want someone towards the top, but that means absolutely nothing. I just have to obviously beat a tough opponent that's standing in front of me on Saturday night, and I get my hand raised, then we'll sit back and kind of see what happens and then go from there. But no, I'm not going to create some character. I didn't go to acting school or anything like that. I'm here to fight, and that's what I do.
Fair enough. I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Cool.
Best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Our next question comes from Mike Vaughn from USD Today Sports. Mike, your line has been unmuted.
Hey, Josh. Just want to clarify something you said a little bit earlier there about potentially going into the pandemic, like finishing your contract and stuff. Is this the last fight on your current contract?
No, I actually, with the Burgos fight, we were able to ink a new 4-fight deal, so that I'm happy with, and yeah, so I have a new set of contract.
Very nice. So was that something that you were kind of mulling over? Was there any consideration of fighting it out and maybe seeing what you were kind of worth on the open market?
That's what I was going to do in January, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, I want to fight for the UFC. It's the biggest platform. It's, in my opinion, the best organization in the world. And I only set out to fight in the UFC from the get-go. That was a goal of mine. I didn't want to fight for any other organization I got offered to, but it was UFC or nothing for me, and I'm here, and I'm so close to one of my goals, so I'm going to keep on going.
Yeah, obviously in a great spot here. And if you kind of look at your stats coming into this fight, I mean, 8 knockdowns in 5 featherweight fights. The only person with more knockdowns than you in the division is Jeremy Stevens, and he has about 3 times as many fights as you in this division. Do you think you're the biggest knockdown, hitting threat in this weight class right now?
Yeah, I've always said that. I feel like I'm the hardest hitting puncher in the featherweight division. Even I saw some other stats that just came out, and it was, in 15 minutes, I averaged 2.68 knockdowns, and that's number one spot. But no, I feel like the power I possess. I've been an athlete my entire life. I'm good at whatever I do, but I excelled at wrestling. I excel in mixed martial arts, and anything can happen in a fight. But I do feel like yeah, I'm just the most athletic individual in the division as well.
So how do you balance that in terms of, approach and strategy in these fights? You obviously know that you can put anyone out with one shot, but you don't want to rely 100% on that and expecting it to happen. So when you're kind of balancing those things going into a fight, what's the approach there?
Just sticking to my game plan. Like I feel like I come from one of the best teams in the world for the lighter weights. I work with some of the best coaches in the world, and if I can just stick to a game plan, I can be 100% on, not make any mistakes in this 15 minutes. And the best me shows up Saturday night. No one in the world can beat me.
Awesome. And just last thing before I let you go here, we do have a featherweight title fight coming up here in just a few weeks. How do you think it goes down between Volkanovski and Holloway in their rematch?
Man, it's I was saying all along. I think like obviously Max is he was a phenomenal champion. He's they're saying he was the GOAT, and then Volkanovski comes in, and every time he fights, he does better and better. But I think stylistically, I was saying Volkanovski was going to win from the get-go, just because stylistically, I don't think that's a great matchup for Max. Don't get me wrong, anything can happen. I always say that in a fight, especially when they're standing, it's 50-50. But I think it's going to be the same outcome. Yeah, just from a stylistically point of view.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Cool. Have a good one.
That's all we have for you today, Josh. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.